Are we ready then, gentlemen? Are there any new developments regarding the Milord operation that should concern us, Mr. Powell?
Oh, it's been pretty well the usual pattern, sir. But he's applied for various sums in foreign currency for overseas trips that have not taken place.
Has he infringed any Bank of England currency regulations?
Technically, yes, but there are several loopholes he could use as a defence.
Does anybody feel like pursuing this point? Anything else, Mr. Powell?
The gardener we've got at his farm has developed lumbago. We're going to have difficulty getting another man to replace him.
We'll leave all that in your safe hands, Mr. Powell. There are more important things to discuss this time. Philby wants to come back, gentlemen. He sent a message through a journalist.
Who was the journalist?
Tom Farrow.
Oh, who's he with now?
The Financial Times.
How like him to pick the FT.
What's your reaction, James?
You don't need to ask me, do you?
And you, Patrick?
Any conditions, any suggested deal?
Just the message.
Who's it to?
Me, personally. He gave Farrow my name. So, what do we do, gentlemen?
Is he in trouble? Philby? Have we had any reports recently?
I looked at the embassy file on him. Doesn't seem to be anything special. Very few visitors, all Russian, mainly KGB.
Could be a very interesting exercise, Arthur. Very interesting indeed.
What do you think, Mr. Powell?
Has this eventuality never been discussed before?
Not so far as I know.
Has the Foreign Secretary been told?
No, not yet. Apart from us, only Sir Ian knows. The message was specifically for me. He'd asked us to make our recommendation.
I really thought we'd heard the last of this saga.
Could I ask you to leave the room for a few minutes, Mr. Powell?
I'll be next door, sir.
Thank you. One of us will come in for you. I'd just like a little chat with my colleagues. I suggest that we take this very calmly, gentlemen. Let's look into it very carefully.
What have we got to look into?
Let's just say we look into the whys and wherefores. I won't enlarge on that.
Who's going to do the looking?
I suggest Powell does it. He would be ideal for it.
He's experienced, he's bright, but I don't know much about his background.
Well, I've got his P file here. Let me see what it says. Right. Age 43. Abandoned as a baby. Left on steps of police station at Berwick-on-Tweed. No trace of parents. Placed in orphanage just outside Sunderland by the Salvation Army. Won a place at grammar school. Joined Metropolitan Police. Promoted sergeant. Transferred special branch. In SB for 5 years before coming to SIS. Promoted 1970 to section head. For 3 years has been responsible for debriefing defectors from the Soviet Union and Poland. His responsibility to this committee was tacked onto his schedule. His annual reports all give him high ratings in every area. Loyal, reliable, perceptive. An ideal man for this job, I would say.
What'll his brief be, Arthur?
To give this committee his evaluation of whether Kim Philby really does want to come back, and if so, why. And his recommendation as to whether this committee should agree or not.
And when we've got his recommendation, each of us expresses the same opinion he has now.
You speak for yourself, James.
Exactly. Patrick,
Yes.
can you pop next door and ask our friend to come in again?
Yes, sir. We're ready for you now.
Mr. Powell, there are conflicting views on the whole episode of Philby, but just because of that, I felt that you had a valuable role to play. Nobody who lived in those times and worked in SIS could possibly have an unprejudiced view of the rights and wrongs of the Philby affair. You were not of those times, and you have an open mind. We haven't. You have another advantage. You are a trained, experienced, and if I might say so, respected officer in SIS. Putting all those facts together, we want you to make the recommendation as to what our response should be. Talk to all of us. Ask anything you like. Check any record you think would help. Go and see Philby in Moscow. And then, when you're ready, tell us what you think.
What staff can I have?
None. Facilities, yes. All the facilities you want. But you will not discuss or even hint to anyone else what you are doing or the approach from Philby.
What reasons can I give for talking to people and calling for files?
Tell them we're stepping up the Milord operation and you're checking backgrounds.
Who do I report to?
This committee. Nothing formal. Just keep in touch.
Any time restriction?
Take as long as you want, within reason. Are we agreed, gentlemen? Is silence agreement or disagreement, gentlemen?
I think both James and I are still a bit stunned by the news. The more I think about it, the more impossible it seems. I've no objection to Powell doing what you suggested, but he'd have to be well briefed. It could be a trap of some sort.
What about you, James?
Only on one condition.
What's that?
That we agree now that whatever his deal is, we say no. String him along if you need to, but the answer is always going to be no.
He might be offering us the working drawings of SS-18s, James.
If he was guaranteeing the defection of the whole Politburo, I'd still tell him to get stuffed.
Well, we've all had our say. Mr. Powell, I'll talk to Sir Ian so that you can get what help you need. Take your time. Talk to Mr. Walker and Mr. McNay. Form your own conclusions. I'd like you to come and have a chat with me sometime before you go off to Moscow.
Right, sir.
Lunch tomorrow, Johnny?
All right.
12:30 Caledonian Club. I'll book a private room.
Okay.
Ask for me at the desk, will you? Come in. There you are, sir.
Thank you.
Good to see you. We don't want any interruptions, so I got them to bring us some cold cuts. We can help ourselves and eat as we talk. Drink?
No thanks.
You don't mind if I do.
I wanted to ask you first.
You've read the books? About Philby, I mean. And his own book?
Yes, I'll reread them, though.
Won't help you much. You can read everything that's been written and you still won't know what it's all about. And of course, Philby's own book was meant to make our security services look like fools.
Were they?
God. Who knows? I was one of them and I can never make my mind up.
What's your general opinion?
He was a traitor. He was ruthless. Hundreds of men died because of what he did. And he did it cold-bloodedly, knowing that they would die. Always remember that. He didn't just betray secrets, he betrayed people.
You wouldn't let him come back?
No. Help yourself, Johnny. We can talk as we go. What are your views?
All much the same as yours. The facts are there. What other conclusions are there to draw?
Oh, you'll hear other views than mine. From people who think that a boy from Westminster School who went to Trinity and belonged to the right clubs couldn't possibly be a traitor. Don't believe it. Philby was a traitor, all right.
What makes you so sure?
The Albanian business? Otto Jorn in Lisbon? Volkov? Will they do for a start? He sent men to their deaths because some bastard in Moscow thought something might be to their disadvantage.
What was he like as a man?
Oh, they'll tell you what a charmer he was and what a hard-working officer he was. Forget it. He was a bastard. A 24-carat bastard. They have to say their piece because he was one of them. Well off, university, part of the old boy network, a drunk. He was the kind they recruited. He was like them, Half of them still don't believe he was a traitor.
What do they believe?
They're like our friend Walker. There's some explanation, they say. There is. He was an out-and-out bastard.
Did you have much to do with him?
Off and on, yeah. You see, he had his finger in every pie, made it look like he was the tireless, never-sleeping organizer. If there's a problem, Philby can solve it. And they believed it. Made him a senior officer of SIS. I mean, how stupid can you be?
Surely it was his skill in deceiving them that made him successful rather than their stupidity.
Johnny, rubbish. He had been a commie at Cambridge. He had mixed with Communist Party members. His wife was a Viennese communist. Not secretly, but openly. An active official. Now, do you think that I would have lasted 5 minutes if my wife had been a Communist Party official?
Did they know that?
Yeah. It was on his bloody P-file. Oh, no, it wasn't a secret.
So why did they leave him in the service?
I told you. He was like them. A gentleman. Being a communist was some boy's prank, like scrumping apples.
People have said that he was very successful against the Germans.
In a way. Yes, in a way. But you see, he wasn't doing it for us. He was doing it for the Soviets. He was helping them win, not us.
Is there anything good about him that you can remember?
You must be joking. Whatever that bastard wants, it won't be for our good. It'll be for him.
I went along to see Patrick Walker at his house in Chelsea. I rather liked Walker, a big man, overweight and plump, but he struck me always as being civilized and intelligent.
Well, make yourself comfortable, Johnny. How did you get on with Jimmy McNay?
I don't really know. I think perhaps I learned more about him than I did about Philby.
Oh, tell me more.
He seems to see Philby as unmistakably a villain. I felt he was very prejudiced.
Maybe that's a good thing. Helps you to avoid prejudices too early in the game.
Do you think Philby was a traitor?
Yes. Yes, I suppose he was. The difference between me and McNay is that I feel there's more to it than that.
Why?
Oh, that would take weeks to explain. Most people agree that whatever he did, it wasn't for money or any material reward. It was ideological, political, if you like. His father was an eccentric, again all authority. Kim was like him in many ways, a loner, almost an anarchist. And if that's the way you think, then it's a damn sight easier to admire a government that you don't live under than the one you're actually stuck with. There were a lot of people in those days who saw a new light for the world in Moscow.
Was he a likable man?
If you forget that he was a traitor, yes, he was. Yes, he was likable. But nobody ever got close to him, not even his women. As a double agent, he couldn't afford to have people close to him. But he was good company and a good brain.
You liked him?
Yes, I did.
Any other reasons why you think that there was more than just treason?
God knows. There was so much that went unexplained. You could be an admirer of the Soviets without being a traitor. What made him go that far? And once he was a real suspect, why did we give him so much rope? He was named in the Commons as the third man by an MP. He was interrogated by our people, competent people. He was found a job as a journalist. He hung around Beirut for years. He could have been arrested or killed, but nothing happened. Our people are not as stupid as they're made out to be, and you know that. So, why was it all made so easy?
The least embarrassing way of getting rid of the problem?
No, that won't wash. People who ought to know better have suggested that before. Its effect on our relationship with the Americans, the CIA and the nuclear agency people, was catastrophic. They'd never really trusted us since then. It was bad enough what he had done, but for him to slip out to Moscow under our noses was just too much.
Do you think that there's anybody who really knows the whole story about Philby?
No. I suppose there are perhaps half a dozen people who could put together their pieces of the jigsaw and be pretty near the truth.
Why hasn't anyone done that?
Well, for several reasons. First of all, nobody knows who the half dozen people are. Well, they don't realize it themselves. Secondly, at least 2 of them are in balk. My lord is one, Kim's KGB controller is another.
How would you tackle this assignment?
I wouldn't even try. I'm too much part of those old days. Old Padmore's no fool, you know. He didn't suggest you for this operation for your beautiful blue eyes. He knew that anybody from the old days would be useless. We're all prejudiced one way or another. We've all been over the ground too many times. We analyse what we know in the context of those days. Those who rather liked him, people like me, put his treason down to his being converted to communism. But there are no real grounds for thinking that. He'd got a sharp analytical mind, so why should he have fallen for all that crap? Most of the early Moscow worshippers changed their minds when they saw what they were really up to. So why not Kim? But we hang on to that theory because there seems to be no other motivation. It certainly wasn't money. Unlikely to be blackmail. Maybe it was power. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the one to find out.
And how would you recommend that I find out? Or where do I look?
Well, he was almost certainly recruited in 1933. Before then, he was openly communist. He made no secret of it. But about the end of 1933, he was covering up his tracks and talking like a convinced right-winger, or at least pro-establishment. As an avowed communist, he would have been no use to the KGB. But you've got to remember that in 1933, Hitler was only just in power. Nobody saw him as a danger. So what did the KGB expect from Kim at that stage? Nobody knew that he would end up in intelligence, let alone as a top man.
What would you ask him if you were me?
Well, I think you'll have to go very slowly until you've got to know him. Remember, he's a KGB officer, and he was an SIS officer. He knows all about dodging the questions. Ask him about Otto Yorn and Volkov. If you're satisfied with his answers about them, then you'll know you're beginning to get at the truth. But you'll only get the truth, or somewhere near the truth, if he feels you're open-minded.
I am open-minded. That's why you all asked me to do this job.
Yes. In Kim Philby's case, you'll have to use a lot of imagination. You probably see me and McNay and Padmore as old fogies. Philby, too. But you've got to remember that we were all young men once, younger than you are when it all started. It was a different world then. And you won't understand Philby until you can transport your mind back to those days.
I'll do my best.
You do that, my boy.
Mr. Tom Farrow to see you, sir.
Come in, Tom. Sit down.
I hope this isn't going to take too long.
Oh, it needn't, Tom. It needn't. How's life in the Financial Times these days?
Reasonably civilized.
You know what I want to talk about.
Yeah, I can guess.
How many people knew that you were going to the party headquarters that night, Tom?
Nobody. Except the officials there. I'd made an appointment.
How long before?
About 10 that morning. The appointment was for 5 o'clock.
And it was just before 7 when you left?
Roughly.
When had you last spoken to him?
About 6 months ago. He was sitting behind me at the Bolshoi. I hadn't noticed him, but he tapped me on the shoulder in the interval.
What did he say?
He just said, hello, and how did I like Moscow?
How long before that since you saw him?
Not since the press conference he gave after Macmillan had cleared him in the Commons.
Was he alone at the Bolshoi?
No, he was with his girlfriend. And they were in a party.
Did you feel your meeting with him this last time was an accident or deliberate?
You know, bloody well it must have been deliberate. You wouldn't pass a message like that on the spur of the moment.
Did anyone follow you?
I didn't see anyone. I didn't really look. I was too surprised.
Did you think he was serious?
Well, he was serious enough about me delivering the message. Only you chaps can decide whether he's serious about coming back.
Why are you so sure that he was serious about the message being delivered?
He was very specific, very pressing.
I heard on the grapevine that it was you who tipped off the mail about Special Branch arresting Rakov. Did you?
I gave them a hint, yes.
Must have been more than a hint for 800 quid.
Maybe.
How did he look?
Much the same as ever. A few more lines, creases maybe.
Who was the girlfriend at the Bolshoi?
The pretty one, Nina. I have not heard her full name. She lives with him.
Did you leave the church together?
No, he left first. I stayed behind.
You didn't make any attempt to follow him?
Not bloody likely. It shook me. All I wanted was to get away. And following KGB officers in Moscow gets you straight in the Lubyanka.
Who did you tell about this?
Nobody. I phoned Padmore from Heathrow, and he told me to go and see him before I contacted my office. He read me the riot act about what would happen if I talked about it.
What about your editor?
I haven't told him, nor anybody else.
Did Padmore make you sign the piece of paper?
Of course.
I went down to Oxford to see Arthur Padmore. It was all very English and academic. The book-lined study, the leather armchairs, tea and sandwiches, all very posh.
How have you been getting on?
Well, it's hard to say, Sam. I've been absorbing material rather than evaluating it.
Quite so. Very wise. And Walker and McNay, have they been helpful?
I think so. I shall know more when I've spoken to Philby. At the moment, none of it makes much sense.
Oh? Tell me more.
I can't see why he should want to come back here, or what he expects the reaction to be.
Feelings would be mixed, of course.
But he could be tried as a self-confessed traitor.
It'll be very difficult to do that. Suspicion is one thing. Evidence to satisfy a court is another. We had to work that out a long time ago.
But what about his own book?
Have you read it?
Yes.
At no place does he admit that he was a traitor. And he could claim that it was written under duress.
He's an officer in the KGB. The British government admitted in 1963 that he'd been a Soviet agent since 1946. He's been awarded the Order of the Red Banner.
Meaningless in court. We went over it all at the time with a fine-tooth comb. The Attorney General said that he would have to instruct the Director of Public Prosecutions not to go ahead if we tried to bring a case on that evidence.
Why did SIS still use him after they knew? Why did they use their influence to get him employed by The Economist and The Observer?
I wasn't privy to those decisions, I'm afraid.
Can I be frank, Mr. Padmore?
I should imagine you well could be, Mr. Powell.
What did you think of Philby?
He was intelligent and hard-working, and he had unreliable friends. But who hasn't?
You don't feel he was a traitor?
Depends on what you call a traitor.
A man who gives or sells his country's secrets to its enemies.
Are you referring to the Soviets?
Of course.
They were our allies most of the time that Philby was working for SIS. Our enemies were the Nazis.
Why do you think he wants to come back, sir?
He'll be 70 next January. He must be bored and lonely. I suppose he wants to die in his own country.
Would you welcome his return, sir?
I think I would. Yes, I think I would. Perhaps welcome is going a bit too far.
Why would you have him back?
For the same reason I gave when they asked me about him before they first took him on in Section D.
What reason was that, Mr. Padmore?
I knew his people. There was nothing wrong there. There's nothing wrong with him either. Others misled him.
I'd got mixed feelings about this trip. I'd only been to Moscow before on a couple of routine trips, checking security at the embassy. And what I'd been told by Padmore, McNay and Walker was so contradictory that I didn't feel that I was all that well briefed for talking to friend Philby. It was all very well them saying go back to square one. But square one was long before I was born.
Aeroflot flight number 174 for Warsaw and Moscow is now boarding. Will passengers please proceed to gate number 21?
That was the second episode of The Other Side of Silence by Ted Allbeury. John Powell was played by James Bolam, James McNay by Fulton Mackay, Arthur Padmore by Lockwood West, Patrick Walker by Geoffrey Matthews, the club servant and the policeman by Adrian Stokes, and Tom Farrow and the Aeroflot announcer by John Livesey. Direction was by Christopher Venning. We present The Other Side of Silence by Ted Allbeury, a serial in 8 parts adapted by the author from his novel of the same name, with James Bolam, Nigel Hawthorne, Fulton Mackay, and Geoffrey Matthews. Part 3, A Meeting in Red Square.
Aeroflot flight number 714 for Warsaw and Moscow is now boarding. Will passengers please proceed to gate number 21?
It suddenly seemed odd to be on my way to talk with Philby. He'd always been just a name to me, a name that represented a time and circumstances that were nothing to do with the real life, a kind of dream world. The name didn't evoke thoughts of treason or espionage. It was more like the name of one of those old film stars from the days of silent films, Rudolph Valentino or Mary Pickford. I'd read the files, seen the photographs, and talked with Padmore, McNay, and Walker, but he still seemed a very shadowy figure. I looked forward to meeting him, but I had no idea how it was going to turn out in the end. They'd booked me in at the Rosia Hotel in Red Square, and I was to meet Philby in the History Museum on the other side of the square, past the Lenin Mausoleum. He would be waiting for me on a bench, opposite the sledge that Napoleon had used during his retreat from Moscow in 1812. There was 2, maybe 3 inches of snow, and by God, it was freezing cold. Mr. Philby?
Yes. Sit down. What's the answer?
Well, I suppose my visit is the answer so far. Well, I'm sure you'll understand that they will want to know a lot more before they give you a yes or no.
So Ian was told?
Of course.
And he sent you?
No, not exactly. It was dealt with at another level.
I don't believe it.
You don't believe what?
That Sir Ian would leave it to others lower down to decide.
But you must know, Mr. Philby, that whatever the level, they would want to establish why you want to come back. It's been a long time. You haven't made it easy for yourself.
Why are they playing games, Powell?
Well, I don't think they are. They're just being cautious in case you're playing games.
So? Well, ask me what you want to know.
Why do you want to come back?
I'm 69, Mr. Powell. I'm tired.
Are there any other reasons?
Well, of course there are. A lifetime of reasons.
Why did you do it?
Do what?
Go over to the Soviets?
Well, it's a long story. Others could tell you better than I could.
Who?
You got time to come to my place?
If you want me to.
Good. Well, let me take your coat. You better buy a fur hat while you're here. Make yourself comfortable.
Thanks.
Did they send any kind of message?
No. I was asked to make contact with you and find out why you want to come back.
Well, they must know why I want to come back.
I don't think they do.
Can I ask who instructed you?
Arthur Padmore.
Well, what else do you want to know?
More about you.
Well, I'm sure you already know everything there is to know. The files and the good men and true.
I'd rather hear it from you. Neither the records nor the gossip make sense.
In what way?
All of them, for or against, say that you're highly intelligent, a rational thinker. That many undergraduates of your generation felt that the Soviet Union might be the new utopia. Most of them soon changed their minds when they found out what was really going on in Russia. So why not you? Why did you work for the Russians and go on working for them?
Do you see my wartime activities against the Nazis as working for the Russians?
You're giving me smart answers, Mr. Philby. They won't wash with me. I'm not the right generation. If you're going to stay on the defensive, I might as well head back for London.
What were you doing in 1932?
Nothing. I wasn't born until 1935.
So how can you understand what it was like in those days?
I can't. Maybe you can tell me. All I want to know is why you really want to come back. You've got a lot of explaining.
Padmore will already know why I want to come back. I don't know why we have to go through this charade.
My orders come from Padmore. If he knows the reasons, then he obviously isn't convinced that they're valid. Yet.
And you expect me to give you my life story before you weigh me in the balance?
It's an exaggerated way of putting it. But yes.
I could just go to Sheremetyevo and get on the next plane to London.
I doubt if your KGB friends would like that.
Tell me, how long have you been in the firm?
A long time. Years.
You realize that your visit means that they're playing games with both of us?
Tell me.
There are things that some of them know that they're never going to tell you. And there are things that I can't tell you either. And if they haven't told you, then you'd need to know far more than you ever can for me to convince you.
About what?
About all of it. What happened from 1931 onwards.
Just tell me the truth about why you want to go back.
Why are those bastards playing games?
Do the KGB know that you want to leave?
Oh, for God's sake, work it out for yourself.
That'll take time. But if that's what you want.
There are things I can't say right now, and the things I can say won't convince you. Oh, I don't blame you. How could you? You weren't around in those days. Galen is just a name to you, so is Otto Young. But you'd better tell London that one way or another I'm coming back. And if I'm left to do it my way, then, by God, what's gone before will look like... No. No, don't say that.
Is there any real urgency to this? Are you in any danger?
No. I'm not in danger. The urgency is my age. I want some peace. Just a few years of peace.
Well, don't you get that here?
Yes, in a way I do. But it's like spending a long holiday with distant relations. It's fine for a time, but you look forward to going back.
Can I ask you for a straight answer to a question?
Of course.
Are you, a triple agent?
You know, I honestly don't know. I never did know. It was the same for me then as it is for you now.
Tell me how it all started.
All right.
You'll like Eastbourne, Kim, and you'll like Aldrow School. You'll meet nice boys there, I'm sure.
Yes, Mother.
I'm expecting a lot of effort from you, my boy.
Yes, Father.
What is it that I want?
That I go to Westminster, Father.
As a king's scholar. Nothing less. You'll be following in my footsteps.
Yes, Father.
Vámonos. Moverte.
They've been using donkeys here in Spain for centuries, Kim. Once upon a time it was camels. The Moors made this the center of art and philosophy. They built this mosque in the 8th century. The Arabs swept through Spain right through to southern France. All this, every bit of it is Arab. In those days, they were the scientists, the astronomers, the mathematicians, the artists. Never forget that, Kim. They aren't just Bedouin roaming the desert.
Is that why you like them so much?
Yeah, it's part of the reason. They've been badly treated by our people. They were given promises during the war that we've never kept.
Promises of independence.
Why didn't we keep the promises?
Our people never intended to keep them, Kim. They just used the Arabs. Never, never trust politicians. They'll lie and deceive and intrigue for their own ends.
What do you do in Jeddah?
Advise the king.
Does he pay you for that?
He gives me trading rights to import and export, and negotiate oil concessions on his behalf.
Why don't we live there with you?
Your mother doesn't wish it. She's quite right. It's very rough and primitive. It's a country for men, not women.
Do you miss the family?
Never be dependent on anybody, Kim. Just you remember that. It's a weakness in a man. Stand on your own 2 feet. Go your own way. Don't be a sheep, be a man. If you need other people, even one, then you're never free.
Yes, Father.
You have many friends in Moscow?
There are 2 or 3 people I like, who like me.
Would you miss them if you went back to England?
Not so that it mattered.
I was told you had a girlfriend.
I've no obligations there. They'll look after her when I've gone.
Have you any other reason for wanting to go back, apart from homesickness?
No, just old anxiety. I'm not planning subversion or working for the Soviets. Apart from anything else, I'm too tired to play games. I've had enough of all that.
Are you disillusioned about communism?
That implies that at some stage I was deluded. I never was. What I believed then, I believe now. My coming back isn't anything to do with communism or politics or whose side I was on. It's nothing to do with whether I was a traitor or a patriot. Can't you understand that?
I'm sorry, but I can't.
Do you like England yourself?
Yes.
Why?
Well, I suppose I could put up some rational reasons, tolerance, freedom and all that. But I doubt if they would be real. I just like it. It's where I belong.
Yes, that's all it is for me. Habit. What I understand without thinking. The place where I grew up.
You told Farrow you wanted to watch the Australians at Lord's. There's nothing in your records that shows an interest in cricket.
No, I've never seen the Australians play, and I've never been to Lord's. I'm not that interested in cricket. I can barely remember even the basic rules. Oh, for me, cricket is summer, village greens, and the last night of the proms, the boat race, apple blossom, country trains, and nothing much more than that. I'm not sure it's even any of those things. They're all just symbols.
Well, what would you do in England?
Nothing, if they'd let me. Just read. Be there. I'd keep out of the way.
It wouldn't be that easy. You might be recognized.
Would you have recognized me?
I'm not sure. Who recruited you for the Soviets?
Now, you know that as well as I do. You've been working on it.
How did you know that?
I'm a KGB officer.
How did they know?
I'm not trading information, if that's what you want. Did they make that a condition?
No, it hasn't gone nearly far enough to consider conditions. Those would come later if they gave a positive response.
Meantime?
Meantime, I came to Moscow to talk to you.
Well, it must all be on file by now. What else is there you need to know?
It isn't all on file. That's just the words. I'd like to hear the music.
That could take quite a bit of time.
I've got nothing else to do until the decision is made.
Talking to me won't really help you, you know that. You won't know if I'm speaking the truth.
I've been deciding whether people were telling me lies or the truth for a long time now. I've got a pretty good idea.
Mm-hmm. When are you planning to go back?
Tomorrow or the next day.
Well, that doesn't give you much time to decide one way or another.
It does. I'm taking it step by step. As soon as I'm getting a negative feeling, I shall stop. Until then, I shall go on taking the steps.
Have I given you negative feelings today?
No.
And what have you learnt?
The shape of a man, the sound of his voice, his own words, not the words of others. Could you fix me a taxi back to the hotel?
Yes, of course.
I can see myself out, don't bother.
You wouldn't get out unless I was with you.
You don't need to go through the embassy when you want to contact me again. You can write to me at P.O. Box 9497, Moscow. Or you can phone me here. Moscow 1555003. Do you want to write it down?
I'll remember it. Will you be here tomorrow?
Yes.
I'll call you early.
Okay.
I stayed up half the night thinking about Philby. I could well understand why Padmore and Walker found him likeable. They were all rather like one another, self-assured and a bit self-satisfied. And I got the impression they were all holding things back, hints about the past that couldn't be mentioned, or couldn't be mentioned to the likes of me. I phoned Kim Philby and told him I'd be back in a few days. He seemed disappointed that I was leaving. It was time anyway that I gave a report to the committee. I didn't know enough about the Otto Yohn and Volkov incidents to challenge friend Philby, and McNay was just the man to tell me.
I don't think much of this, Mr. Powell. No recommendation, nothing decisive in the whole report. Are you holding something back?
No, Mr. Padmore, I'm holding nothing back. But I get the impression that everybody else is.
What does that mean exactly?
It means that everyone I've spoken to so far has dodged the issues. On the one hand, he's a traitor, but on the other, he's a gentleman.
And what do you conclude from that?
I conclude that you think that Philby is a gentleman traitor, and maybe something went on in those days that you would all rather forget.
What's your opinion, James?
My opinion's the same as it always was. There'll always be plenty of people to put in a good word for Philby, and maybe Powell is right.
Right in what way?
Maybe something did go on in those days that a lot of people would prefer to sweep under the carpet. For me, he was a traitor, and we're wasting Powell's time on our own. Obviously, even the Russians don't trust him, so why the hell should we?
What makes you think they don't trust him?
Well, you've read what Otto Yohn said after he came back.
Oh, my God. He was a traitor if ever there was one.
What was your impression about Kim, Mr. Powell?
I've said what I think in my report.
Perhaps you could bring yourself to repeat it.
I think he wants to come back, that he expected to come back without any trouble. And I think he can't understand why we're going through this ritual.
Any other impressions?
Yes. I'm quite sure that Philby will seriously consider carrying out his threat to come back his own way if we don't agree.
In your report, you suggest that Philby said that there were things he couldn't say. What do you reckon all that was about?
I didn't suggest that, Mr. McNay. I reported what he actually said. I have near enough his own words.
But what did he mean?
I don't know.
But what do you think he meant, damn it?
I have no idea what he meant, but I suspect that I'm the only person in this room who doesn't know what he meant.
Mr. Powell, I think perhaps we are all beginning to miss the point. We accepted from the start that none of us old hands from the days when Philby was an officer in the SIS could put aside his knowledge of those days and assess the present situation satisfactorily. I think that in trying to avoid passing on those prejudices to you, we have maybe clouded the position for you even more. That was stupid. There is a simple issue at stake here. Should we or should we not agree to the request of Kim Philby to return to the United Kingdom? Now, how do we resolve the problem? I suggest, subject to what my colleagues may have to say, that we leave you to deal with this affair in your own way. Go back to the primary sources. Satisfy yourself. Report to us only when you have arrived at your own opinion.
I'd like to ask to be taken off this assignment, sir.
Oh, this assignment didn't come only from this committee, Johnny. It came from the top. We can all understand your feelings. It shouldn't take long. You can refer to any of us if you wish. Otherwise, go your own way.
Is that official, Mr. Padmore?
Oh, of course, my boy, of course. You mustn't rush things. I accept that. Take what time you need. Now, I must be on my way. Can we share a taxi, James?
Of course.
Yeah. Padmore gave you good advice, Johnny. Ignore our views. Go back to primary sources. Be a historian.
The trouble is that what everybody says makes sense. until you put it together. And it doesn't seem possible that you're all talking about the same man or the same events.
Maybe we're not, my friend.
I noticed that Padmore didn't deny that I was the only one in the room who didn't know what Philby meant when he said there were things he couldn't say.
Maybe his mind was on other things.
Do you think that was why?
I suppose not, Johnny.
So what is it you all know that I don't?
Oh, it's a problem of semantics. We don't know anything that you don't know or couldn't find out. We just have our suspicions, our own explanations for why it doesn't all hang together. You'll be the same in the end.
I have my suspicions now.
Well, don't tell me. I don't want to know. But you'll have to turn over a lot of stones before you find the worms.
How far back do I go? And where?
Cambridge, 1931. Vienna, 1933. Section D, 1940. Madrid, 1944. I could go on all night. And then there's Volkov and Otto Jorn. If my suspicions are correct, you'd better get a move on.
Can't be a moment, Powell. Just let me sign this report, and I'm all yours. Right now, what can I do for you?
Well, I really wanted to ask, were you in SIS when Philby was recruited?
Yes. I came in about 6 months before he did.
What had he done after he left Cambridge?
He had some sort of sabbatical in Vienna, improving his German or some excuse like that. He married his first wife there. She was a Jewess and a communist. He was there about a year, came back in 1934 and worked on some magazine. Must have been about that time that the Soviets recruited him.
Uh-huh.
There was no more communist talk from Philby. He joined the Anglo-German Fellowship, pro-Nazi organization, edited their magazine. He visited Berlin several times, had talks with Ribbentrop's people, Goebbels' office. Then he went to Spain as a freelance journalist. After a few months, he became the Times correspondent, reporting on Franco's side. Was awarded some Franco medal or other. He was the Times correspondent in France until Dunkirk, and it was then that he was recruited into SIS.
Who recruited him?
Burgess got him in. They knew one another at Cambridge.
But Burgess wouldn't have had the authority to take him on. Who actually said yes?
Well, I'd say it was a combined decision. He had the usual preliminary interview at St. Erman's, then several further interviews. I was at one or two of them myself.
Were you for or against?
I was for, oddly enough.
Why?
Because he didn't seem all that keen to join. I've always had the theory that the eager beavers are dangerous. Philby seemed aloof. He was working for the Times and said that he wasn't sure that he wanted to change. There should be reports of the various interviews in the files.
And there should be, but there aren't.
Nothing at all.
Absolutely nothing. Not even a note on the index to say that material has been removed.
What about Burgess and McLean's recruitment reports?
They're still on file.
Very strange.
What made Philby change his mind about joining?
God knows. Probably Burgess.
Tell me about Burgess.
What part?
His background.
His father died when he was 8 or 9. He was a Royal Navy commander. His mother married again, a wealthy man, Colonel Bassett. Burgess went to Eton and then Dartmouth. He had some medical problem, his eyes, I think. He was sent back to Eton, won the Gladstone Scholarship and went up to Trinity. Handsome, arrogant, talented, debauched. That's about it.
So you think that Philby was recruited by the Soviets in 1934?
I'd guess that he was looked at in Vienna and was working for them by the time he went to Spain.
Well, why then? I thought he was working for the Times.
No. He was already in Spain as a freelance when the Times hired him. Before that, he was broke, so where did the money come from? How did he finance the trip?
And what did the Soviets want him for?
Well, I imagine that it was useful to have information from the Franco side, eh? And I'd guess they were setting him up for MI6 as a useful recruit.
And who recruited him for the Soviets?
I'm sure he was looked over by my lord. And I'm sure that it was my lord who had already spotted Burgess and McLean. At that stage, I should think that Burgess was the man who mattered. And I'd say, too, that Philby got his Soviet funds through Burgess.
What was my lord doing at the time?
Teaching science at Cambridge. The details will be on your files.
When did you first suspect Philby yourself?
In 1945, when I heard about the Volkov affair. That stank of Philby. And I was sure in 1949 when my people went into the trap in Albania.
Well, did you say so at the time?
Too bloody true. I raised hell about it. And I put in a separate report in 1952 when Milmo questioned him.
Well, what happened?
The old boy network started working. I thought I was going to get the push myself. I got a call from one of the nationals offering me a foreign correspondence job. And I could guess where that suggestion would have come from.
Who?
Oh, I don't mean one person. There were a couple of dozen busy protecting Philby.
Have you thought any more about why he wants to come back?
I've got my suspicions.
What are they?
No, thank you, my friend. The network's still there. I'd like to retire gracefully in a couple of years' time. I've already put in a few extra years. Are you going back to see Philby again?
Yes.
Ask him why he married Lizzie. That was probably the beginning. I'd like to know what he said. His answer could be very revealing.
That was the third episode of The Other Side of Silence by Ted Allbeury. John Powell was played by James Bolam, Kim Philby by Nigel Hawthorne, James McNay by Fulton Mackay, Arthur Padmore by Lockwood West, and Patrick Walker by Geoffrey Matthews. Mrs. Philby and the Airport Announcer by Miranda Forbes, St. John Philby by Richard Kay, Young Kim Philby by James Hossack, and The Spanish Donkey Man by Paul Casser. Direction was by Christopher Venning. We present The Other Side of Silence by Ted Allbeury, a serial in 8 parts adapted by the author from his novel of the same name, with James Bolam as John Powell and Nigel Hawthorne as Kim Philby. Part 4, What Happened to My Lord?
What worried me after the meeting with Padmore, McNay and Walker was that I knew now that at least one of them was lying. Maybe all of them were lying. And they'd all been in the intelligence business for years. They knew how to camouflage the truth, and they would have done it skillfully. So I was left in the odd situation of having to use Philby himself to provide clues as to who was kidding who in London. Oddly enough, I was looking forward to meeting him again.
Oh, go on in. The door's not locked. Well, do you want to eat first or talk?
Oh, let's talk, if that's okay with you, Kim. There's a lot to talk about.
Right, we'll sit down over there. Move the cushions if they're in the way. So, let's talk. What first?
Tell me about Lizzie, your first wife.
Well, what do you want to know?
Why you married a communist.
Oh, well, that started way back in England, long before I went to Vienna and met Lizzie.
Tell me about it.
Well, did you ever hear about the Jarrow marches in the 30s?
Yes, I was brought up not far from Jarrow.
I was at Cambridge at the time. I'd never heard of Jarrow, but I came out of a bookshop one afternoon. It was raining hard, and a few people stood watching this long chain of men. I stopped too. All you could hear was their boots. Except for a man at the front playing a mouth organ, they were absolutely silent. They had some tatty banners saying that they wanted jobs. I didn't know anything about the steelworks being closed down, but I knew I'd never forget those men. They weren't just pale, they were grey. Their clothes were just rags. They looked more like scarecrows than men. They weren't asking for money. They were asking for jobs. I spoke to some of them in a local hall where they were spending the night. It was the first time I'd ever felt really angry in all my life. I went to see an important man that night. He was a lecturer at one of the colleges, but he had business interests. I wanted him to do something for them.
Oh, I can't talk over this. Let me switch the damn thing off. No, it's the same all over the world, Kim. Nobody's building ships anymore. You can't create shipbuilding orders out of thin air.
Oh, it wasn't market forces, Rupert. It was deliberate. It was policy.
Who says?
Well, I went back tonight to the drill hall and talked to one of them, the leader of the men on the march. He told me what had happened. The march was backed by Conservatives as well as Labour. There's over 70% unemployment in Jarrow. The town council sent an official deputation to the House of Commons, and they were interviewed by Walter Runciman. Do you know what he said? Jarrow must work out its own solution. Now, how could a man say that, a cabinet minister?
And what would your solution have been?
Socialism, social democracy, a whole new perspective. Caring about the losers, putting the capitalist bullies down.
State intervention?
Yes.
That always leads to loss of personal freedom.
Well, better that than millions of men thrown on the scrap heap.
That's what Hitler is doing in Germany.
Oh, never. Well, that's just a group of hooligans after power.
No, that's special pleading, Kim. He's finding work for the unemployed and giving the Germans back their national pride.
Well, there are better ways. There must be.
Such as?
Well, what the Soviet Union is doing.
So you're advocating Red Revolution in England?
Well, a revolution in thinking, anyway.
What are you going to do after you've finished here?
I want to have a few months in Europe.
Where?
I'm decided.
Have a look at Vienna.
Huh?
That's going to be where the real struggle starts, the struggle for Europe, or maybe the world.
You sound like a high-class tour operator. Luxury tour to see the end of civilization.
It's time you were getting back to college.
Isn't there something you could do? Talk to somebody.
I'll think about it.
Try, Rupert. Do your best. I'll see my son that.
Take care.
Right.
Cambridge 71212, please. Hello. Yes, I recommend you go ahead with him now. At least make the first moves. Yes, I should approach him as soon as possible. He's making a trip to Vienna. Yes, quite soon.
That was the first time you've ever done it, wasn't it?
A gentleman never tells. Let's see. It's one of the tests.
Oh, we better go back.
Oh.
I've got the meeting tonight. Will you come too?
I'd better not. They're a bit suspicious of me.
You're a bit of a wet blanket, Kim.
Thank you.
I can't take criticism, especially from a foreigner.
Oh, they're just talkers, Litzy. They won't ever do anything.
We'll see.
Why didn't you come?
Where?
Can't you hear it? The guns!
Well, I thought it was the people next door. What is it, Litzy? Tell me.
The bastards are shooting the workers. What? Killing them. And they're shelling the workers' flats.
Who? Who's killing the workers?
The Heimwehr and the police. The Palace of Justice is on fire.
Was this a solidarity march against the killing of the child?
Yes.
They'll have to decide now. They'll have to fight back.
They're going to call a general strike.
Oh, that'll be useless. The government forces will finish them off.
Well, what else can they do?
But they can dig up those guns and fight back.
They won't, Kim. They haven't got the guts. They're socialists, and they only understand strikes. Strikes and protest marches, and then they go home for dry bread and acorn tea. Oh, help us, Kim. Help us before it's too late.
How can I help?
Join us. Help us to plan.
Plan what?
Plan our resistance. An underground.
That's the socialists who need the help, Litzy. You people have got Moscow. The socialists have nobody.
Then make them join us. They'll listen to you.
Why the hell should they listen to me?
You're English, and you care.
Why did you marry her? What was the attraction?
Well, the Austrian Nazis would have killed her if they could have laid their hands on her. They were killing all active communists they could find. And, I liked her. Admired her. She didn't just talk. And when we stood there that night in Vienna, watching them still shelling the workers' flats, I saw how easy it was to be crushed if you didn't do something to fight back. And I realized that I was just a talker, too, not a doer.
What did you want to do?
I think those men from Jarrow made me realize how hopeless the politicians in Westminster were. The Labour Party had gone down to utter defeat in the election, and the Socialists knew Ramsay MacDonald had reneged on them, forming a coalition just so that he could stay Prime Minister. They were all utterly selfish and utterly cynical. Only the communists, like Litzy, seemed ready to fight for democracy.
I'd better go back to the hotel. It's very late.
Right. I'll walk over with you. Does being in Red Square move you at all?
No, it just seems grim and menacing.
No feel of history and beauty?
Oh, too much Stalin, not enough Pushkin poetry for me.
Well, I'll be free tomorrow afternoon if you want to talk again.
I'll phone you. I'd like to talk about Volkov.
Do svidaniya.
Cheerio.
What do you want, Georgi?
To see you, my love, of course.
Kim's not here.
I know. He's at Dzerzhinsky Square. I want to talk to you.
You'd better come in.
How is Kim these days?
Ask him yourself, my friend. Ask him.
I've come to ask you. Several things.
Such as?
Sex. How about sex? How often does he screw you?
How old are you, Georgi?
37.
He's 68 next birthday. Whatever his problem is, it's not that.
So what do you think it is?
I think it's just what he says. He's an old man. He wants to go back to where everything is familiar. He's homesick.
Oh, for God's sake, he's lived in Moscow for 16 years. He belongs here now. He's nothing to go to in England.
He doesn't belong here, Georgi. He never did belong here. He's a dreamer, an idealist. You all pretend. He pretends too. None of you understands him. I don't think he understands himself.
And you think you do?
Don't smirk, Georgi. It's a most unattractive habit.
So, answer my question.
Yes, I think I understand him. Because I'm a woman.
Are you in love with him?
No. But I care about him.
In what way?
As if he were my child, or maybe my father.
Why do you think he never belonged here?
He was disgusted with the politics of his own country, and at the same time angered with what the Nazis were doing. He felt that communism was the only hope. He fell in love with a system and a country that he knew nothing about. He was like a man whose friend arranges a blind date. They told him how beautiful she was in 1933 or thereabouts, but he didn't meet her for 30 years. He sent her flowers from time to time in the shape of information. And then, in 1963, he comes over the border to Moscow and meets his lady. He knew she wouldn't be like the photographs, but he put a life's work into that love affair. And for the last 16 years, he's been a faithful husband out of duty, not love.
Why not love?
Why is it you can't see it, Georgi? Any of you? He fell in love with a manifesto. But when he came here, he had to live a day-to-day life. A strange language, strange people, strange place. Food, habits, everything different. He was loyal, but his heart was somewhere else.
Why the hell did you come to Moscow then?
Don't you see? He despised his own country's politicians, but at least he was used to them. And he stayed on in that life until he had no choice but to leave.
What does he dislike about Moscow?
Nothing that I know of. It just isn't where he belongs. He's like Solzhenitsyn and the other dissidents who went to America. They don't like what the Politburo does, but they're homesick for Mother Russia. Homesick for silver birches and pirashki. They don't belong in Washington or wherever.
Is there anything that would make him happy?
Yes.
What is it?
He wants your people to love him enough to let him go back without making out that he's a traitor to the Soviet Union. And he wants his people to love him enough to let him go back without making out that he was a traitor in Britain.
You must know that isn't possible.
Maybe he does. But maybe he hopes that what he has done for you for all these years might make him an exception.
Do you want to go with him?
He hasn't asked me to. I'm sure that isn't what he has in mind.
Would you go if it was necessary?
How would it be necessary?
If our people made it a condition of his going.
Why should they do that?
So that you can keep an eye on him.
He would never agree to that.
We may have no choice. It's the only situation I can think of which might make them agree. I'm not making much progress.
Are you trying very hard or looking over your shoulder to save your own skin?
I had orders to put his case and make a recommendation.
And you're trying to find out which way the big cats will jump before you jump yourself.
Don't tell him what we've talked about, Nina.
Of course I will. He's more important to me than you are.
Just to remember, my dear, you might well be here in Moscow long after he's gone. You'll always need our goodwill. You wouldn't be at home in one of those little frontier towns in Xinjiang province
They can send me to the gulag, but I'm not doing anything so that you or the others can frame Kim. It's time to get out, Kim. The water's getting cold.
Why do you bother with me?
You know why.
Tell me.
Because I like you. I care about you.
But why?
I don't know why, I just do.
Because they pay you? My little swallow from the KGB?
No, for my own reasons.
Tell me your reasons.
They're women's reasons.
Well, tell me.
I care about you because you're often sad.
Oh.
Because you have to pretend so much. Pretend that you don't miss your children. Pretend that you aren't hurt when the people in Dzerzhinsky Square ignore your advice. And pretend that you are sure it was all worth the sacrifices that you've made.
Yes?
This is Young Husband at the embassy. We've just had a message from your people. They want you back in London right away. We booked you on a flight from Sheremetyevo at 10 o'clock. A car's on its way round for you.
Well, and what's it all about?
I don't know. They just said you're to go back soonest.
Well, I was going to see this chap today. Will you phone him later and apologize? Tell him I'll be back.
Okay.
Why have they called me back?
And there's a flap on. A real flap.
What?
Somebody's been murdered.
Who?
Lord Harpenden. My lord.
My God. When did it happen?
As far as we can tell, it must have happened 2 days ago. But he was only discovered yesterday evening. The quack hasn't seen him yet.
How was he killed?
2 shots. One behind each ear.
Where was he found?
At his farm in Kent.
Anything taken?
Not that we can see.
Who's in charge?
Kenrick. But he's been told to hold everything until you've gone over it.
Good evening, Mr. Powell. Would you like a meal and a bath before you get started? It's all laid on if you'd like it.
Where's the body?
In the study.
Let me have a look in there first. What's been touched?
Nothing at all, sir. But I've had extensive photographs taken.
Who discovered him?
Jessup, the plainclothes man on the gate. I've got a statement, but it looks pretty useless.
Where are the servants?
There were none here, apparently. That's what made Jessup suspicious. We think they must have left a few hours before the murder.
How many were there?
5, including our chap, the gardener.
What about the farm staff, farm manager?
They weren't ever allowed over here, unless they were sent for.
Any views, Tom?
It's professional. There's no doubt about that.
You mean the 2 headshots?
Yes.
Who do you think?
It was either us or them. Nothing's been taken. Whoever did it removed the slugs before they left. They went into the wall at both sides of the window frame. It looks as if they knifed them out. I've had the holes photographed, but it won't help. They were in a hurry and they prized them out pretty crudely. You can see the blade marks on the paint.
I'm going to take a couple of hours' sleep, Tom. Get everything out of the filing cabinets and the desk. Lay them out on the table for me to check over. Mark exactly where they come from.
Right, sir. Yours is the first room on the landing.
There were only 2 lots of people who would want to kill my lord. The KGB and my people SIS. There were all the usual signs of a professional killing. It had been tidy, precise, and successful. But why now? Either of them could have killed him any time they wanted in the last 30 years. Was it something to do with the present Philby business? Or just some old score being paid off? Whatever it was a bloody nuisance.
What would you like to do first, Mr. Powell?
Any news of the servants?
Yes. Our gardener man phoned London. They were given a holiday at my lord's instructions and expense. A signed note was given to the general manager. It seems Harpenden did the same a couple of years ago.
And where are they?
At Packham, just outside Chichester.
Was any reason given?
Reward for loyal service.
Did they believe it?
No. It was done in a hurry, only an hour's notice. The rumour was that the previous time that had happened, there had been some sort of orgy. And they assumed that this was the same again.
Why an orgy?
Nylons and panties in unusual places last time.
Probably planted by his lordship to cover up some meeting.
So why did he want the servants away?
People coming here that he didn't want anyone to see.
Could be.
Well, let's go over the stuff on the table. You make notes, Kenrick. We can get Forensic to do a thorough check. Right. 3 A4 buff file covers labelled NATO 1, 2, and 3. Another marked HARP, H-A-R-P. 2 others marked Washington 1 and Washington 2. And a file just marked 97413. Contents of all of them look like blow-ups of standard microfilm-coded messages. 4 columns of letters and figures in 5-digit groups. 3 bottles of whiskey, glasses, penknife, half-empty bottle of gin, box of cigars, still sealed, pencils, ballpoint, various bits of stationery. What are we here? 2 packs of one-time code pads and a notepad. There's a leaf missing from the code pad, and there's indentations on the notepad. Take a pencil and the penknife. Let's see what a bit of graphite can do. Okay. Now, scrape the powder on gently. There's something there, but not clear enough to read. The forensic will get something. Who do you think knocked him off?
I'd guess he was knocked off because somebody thought he might talk. I assume your committee would have been delighted if he talked, so that leaves only the KGB.
Why do you say you assume the committee would want him to talk?
Well, sir, I never knew why you went along with the committee.
Well, why shouldn't I?
I think I'm treading on dangerous ground. Let's forget what I said. They could claim I was breaking security.
I want to know what you're on about, Kenrick. Security or no security. We can talk off the record if that eases your conscience.
You're not playing games with me, are you, Mr. Powell?
Just tell me what you meant. We're off the record as of now.
The committee was phony. Just a cover-up.
For what?
Why did Milord matter so much?
Because he was the man who recruited Philby.
That's rubbish. Harpenden was only one of a score of men in high places working for the Soviets.
So why was the committee formed?
Maybe to keep the heat off some of the others. If the investigations about Philby's background are concentrated on one man, then the others can relax and carry on working for Moscow.
Were you around when Philby was operating, before he was exposed?
All the time. Except when he was in Washington.
Did you suspect Philby before he bolted?
Oh, long before then.
When?
After the Volkov incident. And after Otto John. There were too many indications to be ignored.
Did you know who the others were?
I was pretty sure. I didn't know. I couldn't have proved anything.
And what happened to them?
Some are dead, some are retired. Some are still there, helping the Soviets.
Who are you thinking of?
I'm not naming names, Mr. Powell. I'd like to retire peacefully, not end up like Milord.
Tell me what areas you're thinking of.
You know already, don't you?
I guess so, but tell me all the same.
1 Tory minister, 3 ex-ministers, 2 historians, a bundle of scientists, 1 still at his old university, 1 member of the Queen's entourage, 4 trades union leaders. Do you want me to go on?
No.
All Tories and establishment except the trades union people.
That was Harpenden's background.
And Maclean's and Burgess's.
And what made you think of them?
I think Moscow sacrificed Philby all along the line to save Maclean. He was the man who mattered.
You'll be reassigned now that Harpenden is dead. I'll tell him I want you for research for a few weeks, if that suits you.
What are you working on?
Philby, I can't tell you any more until they clear you.
They won't agree without a struggle.
Why not?
Because I was around in those days.
You were assigned to me for Milord.
I wouldn't worry them. They knew it was a dead end, it was a game. A diversion. It kept people's thoughts away from other things and other people.
Well, who will resist?
Padmore and Walker. Maybe McNay. But it may not be direct.
We'll see. Meantime, phone Special Branch Liaison and tell them it's okay to let the police find Harpenden's body. When you phone, tell the others to get back to London. I'd like you to drive me to Hastings Station, and I'll make my own way back.
Okay. You've got my home phone number?
Yes, but it'll be a couple of days before I contact you. Maybe longer.
That was the 4th episode of The Other Side of Silence by Ted Allbeury. John Powell was played by James Burlam and Kim Philby by Nigel Hawthorne. The college lecturer was Alan Dudley, Litzy, Jill Lidston, Nina, Mary Zuckerman, Georgi Malik, Peter Forrest, Mr. Mills, Adrian Stokes, and Mr. Kenrick, Hugh Dixon. Direction was by Christopher Venning. We present The Other Side of Silence by Ted Allbeury, a serial in 8 parts adapted by the author from his novel of the same name, with James Bolam, Fulton Mackay, and Lockwood West. Part 5, The Old Boy Network closes ranks.
Kenrick had offered to drive me back to London, but I needed to be on my own for a bit, to sort things out in my mind. I got him to drop me at the railway station in Hastings. I'd have over an hour to myself on the journey back to Charing Cross. Obviously, I'd seen Harpenden many times during the surveillance, and there were hundreds of photographs and film clips, all the usual stuff. Seeing him dead seemed to make him a different person. Whatever he'd done or not done, those 2 ugly holes at the back of his head had ended all that. He was just a corpse. And even for MI6, corpses are innocent. But my lord was from the same scenario as Padmore and McNay and Walker. And Philby, of course. Even now, most people remembered Burgess and Maclean more as drunks and homosexuals than traitors. Playboys, upper-class aberrations. Foolish rather than treacherous. And inside the intelligence world, half of them saw Kim Philby as an out-and-out traitor, and the other half as a charming softy who'd been led astray. The men who had protected the 3 defectors were all from their background. Some gave their goodwill because the traitors came from their own class. Others, some of them still in Whitehall, covered up for them for different motives. Men whose loyalties were still to Moscow, who accepted that destroying their own country would take patience and time. Maybe it would be better just to ignore Philby's request to come back. If he came back under his own steam, would he really do all that much damage?
I thought you were rather rude to Mummy tonight.
I don't remember that. What did I say?
You said rubbish to something she said.
Well, it was rubbish.
I don't think so.
I said you look pretty, and she said it's more important for a gal to look smart than pretty.
I know. I was there.
But would you rather be smart than pretty?
Oh, for heaven's sake, you know what she means.
Of course I do. It's kind of snobbery.
How do you make that out?
What she means is, there are pretty girls in Woolworths, but in her book they don't count because they don't wear Hermes scarves and can't tell a fish knife from an avocado spoon.
Now you're talking rubbish.
What do you want to do tomorrow?
I asked Cynthia and Bobby round for drinks midday, and maybe we'll go on to the Connaught for lunch.
OK, so long as you don't complain again if I have the steak and kidney pie.
When are you going to grow up?
When you get into bed.
Oh. Hey, who was that tall guy with the wavy hair you were talking to?
Jake somebody or other. I think he fancied you and was trying to find out if we were married.
Why? What did he say?
He thought he'd heard that you were rather a funsy girl.
What did you say?
Frankly, nothing. He sounded a real creep. Only a creep would use a word like funsy.
I rather like creeps in a way.
I know. I thought you'd got over it, though. Is Captain Anders there? Oh, where is he? Is there anyone else there who's a Polish speaker? Is what? Oh, fine, put him on. Hi, Tad. Can you come over? I want you to read me some Polish. Thanks.
Hi, Johnny.
Tad?
What have you got?
I've found a notepad at my lord's place with impressions on the top page. Forensic have treated it. It's not in code and it's in Polish. Can you translate it for me?
Let's have a look. Your message 79191420. No, repeat, no possible doubt. We came second to help stop. At least 2 years late. Stop. Pablo. Message ends. That's it, Johnny. Does it make any sense for you?
Not at the moment. Maybe it will later. Are you still on port security?
Yes, I have another 4 months to go.
Any Soviet hitmen been through in the last few days?
Which way?
Both, in and out.
I'll need to check. Any particular date?
Yes, just before and just after last Thursday.
Did they do anything?
Maybe.
Okay, I will check. How urgent is it?
Today, if possible. Powell?
Ted Anders, there is a possible for you, Johnny.
Yeah?
2 of them came in through Folkestone on the hovercraft with an accredited group, a delegation of Soviet ministers on invitation from the NUM. Landed on Tuesday, left on Friday from Heathrow for Helsinki. Both of them on our register as KGB. Not seen at the NUM meeting, said to be indisposed. Last seen by us 4 months ago in Sydney, Australia. They went in as part of a trade mission, but were seen on a violent picket line and warned by state police.
Have you got descriptions and names?
Yes, and photographs. Do you want copies?
Please.
I will send them up to you in half an hour, if the copy is free.
Okay, thanks.
Anytime.
How much is it to get into the aquarium?
£1, sir.
For 1, please. Sorry to interrupt your leave, Kenrick.
That's okay, Skipper. What's the trouble?
Has anyone given you new instructions?
Yes, I was told to report to Century House tomorrow for a new assignment. I asked them to clear it with you first.
They haven't contacted me.
I didn't think they would.
And why not?
Because something's going on.
Well, like what?
God knows, but I can smell it. I've been at this game a long time. I've smelt this smell before.
What do you think it is?
I'd say that we're digging up Philby again.
Well, why do you think that?
It's a long time since we've done it. It's a routine every few years, a new government, a new C, or the KGB send him somewhere he can be seen by us, or the CIA. They like playing games, digging up Philby, just teasing. They look crazy to sacrifice him.
What do you mean, sacrifice him?
They threw him away for the sake of Maclean.
And Burgess?
For God's sake. The Russians would have wiped out Burgess if Maclean hadn't panicked, passed on his panic to Moscow.
Well, why would they have sacrificed Philby for Maclean?
Maclean was more important to them.
Who protected Philby in London?
Everybody outside 5. Diplomats, members of Parliament, the usual top society gang. 5 suspected him, but they couldn't touch him because he was SIS.
Who protected him in Washington?
Same kind of people. plus 3 or 4 in the embassy who really mattered.
He wants to come back.
It figures, I suppose.
Why?
Well, Philby was recruited very young. He did their dirty work, but he had the excuse that there was a war on, and the Soviets were doing the fighting. But when it was over, Philby wasn't an evangelist anymore. He'd know too much about what Moscow was up to. But he was, after all, an NKVD man. And you don't resign from that. He was stuck. I'd say that from then on he just served his time. He hears that the finger's on McLean, and Moscow tells him to get him out. And that was the beginning of the end for Kim. The finger only pointed at him after those two had turned up in Moscow.
Have you told anyone else your theory?
No way. I wouldn't know who to tell. But if I can see this, others can see it too. If they don't say it out loud, I ain't going to be the one who does.
Tell me what it was like in SIS in those days.
You mean in 1939 and 40?
Yes.
When the war started, SIS was just a handful of people. Ex-colonial policemen, ex-Indian police, that sort of chap. They'd been good policemen, but, well, they were kind of innocent. They didn't really know what was going on in the world. They didn't even recognise what was going on in this country. The intelligence they collected was not much more than travellers' gossip. They passed it on to the Foreign Office and the General Staff, and I'd guess it was never read.
Why not?
It was rubbish. Out-of-date chit-chat from unreliable sources. To say that SIS was not respected is flattering them. They were just figures of fun.
Well, how did they survive?
The war saved them in 2 ways. First of all, they had to recruit a lot of new people in a hurry. Some of them were very bright, and Philby was one of them. But the most important, I felt, was the cryptography set up at Bletchley, the ultra people. And purely for administrative convenience, they were made part of SIS. And the material they produced was vital. SIS distributed the material and got all the kudos.
But surely the new people made a difference?
Not all that much, actually. They looked at their superiors, couldn't believe what they saw, and the clever ones just soldiered on. They settled down in whatever foreign country they were sent to. Survived.
Including Philby?
Oh, no. Philby looked at his bosses, drew the same conclusions, but kept them to himself. He got on with his work and they liked him. He was the only SIS officer to be decorated at the end of the war. Well, that was obviously the old boy's way of saying thank you.
How did you get on?
I wasn't as bright as the new boys. I wasn't university trained or sophisticated. I did as I was told. I saw it as a privilege to be in the SIS. And despite some of them, I still do.
And I'd like to talk to you a bit more about those days sometime.
Any time you want.
What did you think of Philby?
He was always friendly. And whether he was doing it for us or the Soviets, there was no doubt that he worked hard. I think he and the others saw me the same way they saw a senior club servant. I was given orders and I got on with it.
I'll make an application for you during the next few days.
I hope they agree.
They will.
Ah, Mr. Powell. They asked me to pop in. Said you wanted to chat.
Thank you for looking in, sir. Please, sit down.
Oh, I suppose it's about the Milord business.
Yes, I wondered if you had any views.
I don't see it as significant, do you?
Well, what's your theory, sir?
A routine KGB killing. No longer useful to them. They would know he was under constant surveillance. Tales to tell. Better to silence him.
You don't think it had anything to do with the current Philby affair?
No, I shouldn't think so. A coincidence. Now, tell me about Moscow. What have you decided?
Well, I think he genuinely does want to come back.
I ask myself, why, Powell? Why?
I think he's homesick. He's had enough.
Understandable. He was very English, you know. Strange. Like his old father. I couldn't see him settling in Moscow. Never could.
And what would happen to him if he did come back?
Oh, there would be a few hotheads for putting him on trial, old scores to be settled, that sort of thing. They would have to be dealt with. We couldn't tear open all those old wounds again. And the public don't like it, you know. Like all this chasing after elderly Nazis by the Jews. They're tired of it. No, if Kim came back, he would have to come back incognito. Settle down in Sussex, a cottage or something like that. And we close the book.
Do you think the Soviets would let him?
They're going along with it so far. They understand this sort of thing. The homeland. They're very sentimental people underneath.
Is that what you would recommend, sir?
It would be a damn sight more sensible than having him step off an Aeroflot flight at Heathrow and calling a press conference.
And what conditions would you want to lay down?
Make rules and conditions, and everyone wants to break them. Common sense would be enough.
Well, there would always be the threat of deportation hanging over him.
What? Oh, yes, I suppose that could be borne in mind. Bit tricky, though.
Do you think we should call the committee for a final meeting, sir?
I don't think so. Talk to them individually yourself. Sound them out and make your recommendations.
You would back me, sir?
Of course, 100%. So would the others.
Even if my recommendation was negative?
Ah, well, in that case we should have to consider the implications.
Such as?
Such as that he storms into Heathrow full of wild allegations. Or a press conference in Moscow to stir up trouble between us and the Americans.
Can you give me the names of any of our people who were in Washington at the same time as Philby?
Patrick Walker.
And what was his job in those days?
I don't remember. Something quite junior.
You sounded very furtive on the phone, Tom. What's it all about?
I've got a problem, sir. I don't quite know how to...
Just come right out with it, Tom.
It's not that easy, sir. I've got to ask you to keep it between us. I need to know that you will before I tell you.
Who mustn't I tell?
Anybody. They'll fire me if they find out that I've told you.
Maybe you better not tell me then.
I don't think it was the KGB who knocked off my lord.
Go on.
I'd like to know what you think of what I've said.
You're a very experienced operator. You've been in the business a long time. If you think that, then I'd want to know why.
You understand the implications?
Sure. If they didn't do it, we must have done it.
That doesn't fit your evaluation, does it?
No, but I could be wrong.
You are wrong, sir.
There was a lot of evidence the other way.
The two KGB hitmen leaving the documents and all that.
Yes.
Maybe it was just done to make you think that it was the KGB.
Well, why should our own people be interested in deceiving me?
Have you spoken to Mr. Anders recently?
I spoke to him about 10 days ago.
He's been posted unexpectedly to Hong Kong.
When?
It was done in a hurry. He only had 2 hours to pack.
Go on.
Mr. McNay interviewed him the day before he was posted. Asked him to translate a signal in Polish. Anders did so and told him that he'd already done the same message for you. McNay seemed agitated, and it was after that that Mr. Anders was posted. He asked how long he would be out there. He was told that it was an indefinite posting. Anders raised hell because of his family, and then they said not longer than 2 months. And Hong Kong's Mr. McNay's area. Anders is working for him.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Are you quite sure?
No more facts, anyway.
What about suppositions?
I think our people did it.
If our people did it, they wouldn't have left the blank page on the pad with the impression of the message on it.
Maybe they were in a hurry or careless.
You don't believe that, do you?
Maybe not, but I still think I'm right.
There's something else, isn't there?
Did you know that copies of our surveillance reports always went to the other members of the committee before you got them?
No, I didn't. Who gave you those instructions?
I got them direct from C. The old one, not the new one.
Why didn't you tell me before?
My order said not to.
And what did that make you think?
I reckoned they were still playing games about Philby, and that they weren't letting on to you.
Let's get back to my lord. I had assumed that the KGB had him killed because they were suspicious about Philby's meeting with me. I wondered even if they had sacrificed my lord to indicate to us that Philby was serious about coming back.
Letting on to you.
Him out so that he couldn't get in the way. To show, without saying the words, that they were willing to let Philby come back.
I think you were fitting the facts to the case. And maybe you were meant to do that.
Could be. I wonder why.
In my experience, anything in any way to do with Philby is always more than it seems. Never straightforward. Interference, string pulling. It's as if we were still at Ryder Street or Broadway, with Philby still there, smiling that funny smile of his, watching us all go through the hoops he'd set up for us.
Well, thanks for telling me, Tom. I'll keep it all to myself. I got to find out why they'd sent Anders away. All he had done was translate that message in Polish for me, the one on my lord's pad. Now, only days later, he was in Hong Kong. McNay had fixed it, and I needed to know why. Something was terribly wrong, and it was my people who were making it wrong. Ted Anders' wife, Maria, like Anders, was a Pole. She was beautiful rather than pretty, and she gave piano lessons to local kids to help pay for the mortgage on the house. Hello, Maria.
Hello, Johnny. Come in. Tad's been sent away. I expect you know that.
Yes. Have you got a phone number for him in Hong Kong?
Yes. He phoned through as soon as he arrived the day before yesterday.
I want you to call him and then put me on the phone.
Is this all okay, Johnny?
Yes, of course.
Official?
Semi-official.
How's Vanessa?
She's fine.
She's still grieving about the little girl.
Ah, she's up and down, you know. It's not easy for her.
Are you two going to get married?
Oh, I don't think she's ready for another go yet.
Let me see if I can get Tad. 0, 1, 0, 8. She likes you a lot, you know. She told me. Says you're her rock.
Oh, that's nice.
6, 0, 8. I want to speak to Mr. Anders, please. Oh, to ty, Tadek? Wszystko w porządku? Johnny Paul jest tutaj. Chce z tobą porozmawiać. Nie, jest sam. Okej. Uważaj na siebie. Całuję cię. He's on the line, Johnny.
Thanks. Is that you, Tad?
Yes.
You remember that message you translated for me, the one in Polish?
I remember.
I understand you did it for McNay, too.
Did he tell you that?
Oh, not directly.
Who told you?
A friend.
Okay. What's the problem?
Did McNay comment on the message at all? Did you hear me, Tad?
Yes. I'm thinking.
Well, think hard. It's important.
I'm thinking about whether we should be discussing this.
I need to know, Tad. I really do.
He didn't make any comment.
Well, why did you hesitate before answering me then?
He didn't comment, but he made an alteration to the text. He had asked me to write it down for him. I only translated it verbally for you.
And what was the alteration?
There was the word harp. He put it in capitals.
Harp. Is that all?
Yes. Is Maria okay?
Oh, she's fine.
The bastard sent me out overnight.
I've got an idea you'll soon be back.
Tell me more.
I can't. Here's Maria again. Well, now I knew what harp meant. And I knew now that they were playing games. McNay was, and probably the other two as well. The only thing I didn't know was what they were up to, what they were hiding. I decided to see all three of them again and see if I could get any clues. I'd arranged to meet McNay at his club in a private room. Tell me about McLean.
Why McLean?
He's not involved, for God's sake. It's Philby we're concerned with.
Well, that's for me to decide, Mr. McNay. What did you think of McLean?
I had very little to do with him.
But you knew enough to have an opinion.
About what?
Well, let's say his importance to the Russians.
They all had some value to Moscow, all three of them.
Who was the more important to them?
Philby, I should think.
Why Philby?
I suppose you couldn't have a better situation than having one of the most senior officers of the enemy's counterintelligence organization as your own man.
Well, wouldn't it depend on what he actually provided, rather than what he could provide if he chose? A man in that position could decide to feed only what he chose. He could be a barrier in some ways.
In what way?
He wouldn't risk infiltrating anyone else into his area. There would be no point. But that also means that what he passes on to you is entirely his decision. If he chooses not to pass on something, then you never know what you're missing. You may only get what he thinks you deserve.
What's all this about, Powell?
I think Mr. Padmore is in favour of letting Philby back. I think Mr. Walker is too. I know you are against it. So I wondered if you might reconsider your position if it turned out that Philby was not that important.
Nothing would make me change my view. You're wasting your time.
But if I recommend that he is allowed back, would you oppose it?
I don't know, Powell. I'd have to think about that.
Thanks, Mr. McNay.
Sit down. I want to talk to you. You asked Mr. Anders to translate a coded message in Polish, Powell.
Yeah.
Why was it done so secretively?
It wasn't. It was done in the usual way.
Why wasn't it reported?
To whom?
To the committee.
I haven't been doing reports to the committee. You know that.
Where is your copy of the message?
In my files in my office safe.
I'd like to have that copy, Mr. Powell.
But you've got the original, Mr. McNay.
Who told you that? Anders?
Why wasn't I told that you have the original page of the past?
It's not relevant to your assignment.
Surely that's for me to decide. It was found in Harpendon's desk, and he is very relevant.
In what way?
Because we know that he fingered Philby for the KGB. He's dead.
Out of the picture.
Not for me, he isn't. I'm interested in who wiped him out.
You know who it was? The KGB.
I don't think so.
But this is getting ridiculous, Powell. Maybe you need a rest.
That isn't what I need.
Oh? What is it you need?
I need the truth from all those people who are so busy trying to hide
Hope you're not referring to me, Mr. Powell.
If the cap fits, McNay, you bloody well wear it.
That was the 5th episode of The Other Side of Silence by Ted Allbeury. John Powell was played by James Bolam, James McNay by Fulton Mackay, and Arthur Padmore by Lockwood West. Vanessa Lucinda Curtis, Tad Anders Majee Karash, the girl in the zoo Jill Lidston, Mr. Kenrick Hugh Dixon, and Maria Anders Dorothy Wojtulewicz. Direction was by Christopher Venning. We present The Other Side of Silence by Ted Allbeury, a serial in 8 parts adapted by the author from his novel of the same name, with James Bolam, Nigel Hawthorne, Geoffrey Matthews and Lockwood West. Part 6, The Past Casts Its Shadows.
There's a day in late winter when something in the air tells you that winter's over and it's spring. You get the same kind of feeling when an intelligence operation is coming right. It's not based on facts or proof, just that feeling in the air. And I'd got that feeling now. I knew now which one of them was playing games, putting up a smokescreen. I didn't know why he was doing it, or if the other two were in it with him. But I almost knew enough to start taking them all apart. I decided to have one more talk with all 3 of them. But before that, I wanted another chat with Tom Farrow.
Financial Times.
Editorial, please.
news desk.
Tom Farrow, please.
Just a minute. Tom, for you.
Farrow here?
It's Powell, Tom. Can we meet for a drink about 6?
Where?
Well, how about the Royal Court Hotel, Stone Square?
Okay, but I can't be long.
Not back in Moscow yet, Tom?
I did 10 days there to cover the senator's visit to Brezhnev. I'm waiting for my replacement to have his credentials cleared, and then I'm off to Washington. Thank God.
Did you attend the press conference that Philby gave after Macmillan cleared him in the house?
Yes.
Where did he hold it?
At his mother's flat in Drayton Gardens. He'd gone to ground there after the Peace in the People.
Who was there?
Oh, I don't remember. But there was a heavy turnout. He was very hot news.
Was he questioned?
He gave a prepared statement first. Everybody was given a copy and he read it out.
How did he look?
Very pleased with himself. Good-humoured. And he didn't stammer either.
What were the questions like?
Quite tough. Somebody asked him about his relationship with Guy Burgess, and he said it had been imprudent, but he didn't intend indulging in mudslinging.
And what about McLean?
Thought he must have met him a couple of times, but couldn't put a face to the name.
Did anyone ask him if he'd ever been a communist?
Yes. I think it was either James Cameron or Alan Wicker. He said he never had been, and that the last time he'd knowingly spoken to one was in 1934.
What was the general feeling about him?
Well, I think most of us were taken in. After all, he'd been completely cleared by Macmillan, publicly and officially. And he played the martyr pretty well.
No dissenting voices?
Well, 3 or 4 of us went for a drink afterwards, and I remember somebody suggesting that MI5 had set a trap for Philby and that he was walking right into it.
And what were the others' reactions to this?
They didn't think MI5 would dare to mount a surveillance on an SAS officer. You know, there must have been at least a dozen people in SIS who knew that he was lying when he said he hadn't spoken to a communist since 1934. He was married to one until at least 1941.
There were plenty outside SIS who knew too.
It's incredible, really. Those outside SIS knew that he was a traitor, and those inside SIS weren't sure which of the scenarios was the real one. And even now, I suspect he's got plenty of old friends who swear he was misunderstood.
Even though he's a self-confessed traitor?
That won't stop them. They'll say that's just part of his cover story.
You have grown more cynical since those days.
You bet I have. Are your people letting him come back?
You know I can't answer that.
How's it going, Johnny?
I'm never quite sure, Mr. Padmore.
Any particular problem?
Always the same one. People don't level with me.
You mean people are lying to you?
Maybe. At least I'm not getting the whole truth.
I gather you had a bit of a set-to with McNay.
Why did SIS have Milord killed?
What makes you think they did?
Everything.
Well, that's as maybe. Let's get back to the real matter in hand. Have you made a decision yet?
Almost.
Which way are you inclined?
That we should leave him to rot.
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Why not?
It would be a mistake, I assure you.
Why do we go through all this ritual of me investigating and making the decision? All of you except McNay want him back. Why not just say so and stop wasting my time?
Mr. Powell, I think you're bordering on the impertinent.
Padmore, I don't give a sod what you think, but you'll have to find some other stooge to play games with.
Sit down, Mr. Powell. For heaven's sake, don't make a scene in my club. And don't, whatever you do, please lose your temper. I'm an old man. I apologize if I was short with you. Now, please sit down.
Will you answer me one question truthfully?
Of course, if I can.
Is it a fact that you would all prefer Philby to come back, with the exception of McNay?
I can't answer that directly, Mr. Powell. When all this is over, I'll be able to explain. There are old battles being fought behind the scenes. You were never party to those battles. They were long before your time. And that is precisely why you were chosen, both as the executive arm of the Milord Committee and for your present assignment. The only hope, the only chance of putting those old rivalries to rest is the assurance to all concerned that you have not been influenced in your decision. If I should attempt to persuade you, one way or another, it would be unforgiven and unforgivable. Those concerned who are at the top agreed to accept your decision, whatever it may be. That would be the end of it.
But you and others have tried to influence me.
That, Mr. Powell, is because some of us know more than others and are not at liberty to divulge what we know.
Why?
Because, like you, we have all signed that bit of paper referring to the Official Secrets Act.
But between intelligence services themselves, surely it doesn't apply.
Oh, in this case it does.
Is this the old fight about Philby? Between MI5 and SIS?
I must leave that for you to work out.
Can I ask you one more thing?
Of course.
If I knew what you know, would it make my decision inevitable?
Not inevitable. It would make your decision morally inevitable.
How could there be any other decision if there was a morally inevitable one?
You might well ask, Mr. Powell. Morality in normal civilized terms is not the only consideration in what was my kind of business and is still yours.
Well, can you give me any guidance?
I can't do that. I've explained why.
Well, a signpost in the general direction.
No. But I'll tell you this. I think you've got all the pieces of the jigsaw. You're just trying to press some of them into places where they don't belong.
It's funny that for you that's just a song, but for me and the others it brings it all back.
What does it make you think of?
Oh, the whole period. Being young. Girls in white tennis dresses, long hot summers, white flannels with green stains on them, the Left Book Club, the New Statesman, Penguins, and Picture Post. Harry Roy, Jack Buchanan, songs with lyrics you could understand. It was the end of an era.
And the war finished it?
Not really. The war emphasized it, if anything. It was the war ending that finished it. It hardened everything up. One still gets glimpses of those days, a distant view through the trees.
Tell me.
Oh, the last night of the proms. That always warms me when I see all those young people, their enthusiasm, their faces so eager and innocent, full of promise. We were like that in those days. My generation, Philby's generation. Then somebody somewhere showed us what it was really like. Spoilt it all. The dream became a nightmare, and we all reacted in our different ways.
What was the dream?
That it was possible for everybody to be happy. That the politicians would right the wrongs, or at least try to. That doing good would actually do good.
And the nightmare?
Ex-soldiers with one arm or one leg selling matches in the street. Nearly 3 million unemployed. Dole at 12 shillings and sixpence a week being cut. Coal miners starving on one hand and people shivering because they had no coal on the other. All that brought total disillusionment.
With whom?
The whole damn set-up. Politicians, whose only concern was staying in power. The feeling that capitalists were merciless and that workers were exploited. And day after day, the realization that they weren't just fears, they were facts.
But why did it happen so suddenly?
I suppose it was the Left Book Club or the New Statesman that did it. It took us behind the scenes. We discovered what it was really like, the other side of the story. MPs voted for rearmament who had shares in arms factories. Vested interests everywhere. We wanted to put it right, but we didn't know how to. Some saw Mosley as the answer, and some saw Moscow as the shining light. There wasn't much choice. None of the traditional political parties was worth a damn.
Why not the Labour Party?
Well, they seemed just as divided and corrupt as the Tories. Half of them were totally pacifist, and the other half were beginning to look to Moscow.
Which way did you look?
Well, I didn't join anything, because I'm not a joiner. But people whose views I respected saw Moscow as the only hope. Well, I went along with that, but passively, not actively. I was a bit like the believer who never goes to church.
What kind of people's opinion influenced you?
Well, the Webbs, Shaw, Strachey, Kingsley Martin. Oh, there were dozens of them. We were all looking for lifebelts.
You think Philby was much the same as you?
Well, he certainly was in the early days. He wasn't a joiner either. He was a loner.
Do you feel sympathetic towards him?
Yes. Yes, I do. I suppose I say to myself there, but for the grace of God go I, etc. And a good many others from SIS will think much the same.
Despite the treachery?
Well, I couldn't justify it, Johnny. I wouldn't try to justify what he did. It was unforgivable. If he's guilty, then I share at least part of his guilt.
Maybe you just weren't as arrogant as he was, deciding yourself that other men should die because it suited Soviet ends.
It still took guts to do what he did. It won't look like that to outsiders. To them it's all blacks and whites. I see it differently.
Despite what the Soviet Union has turned out to be?
That's hindsight. You've got to judge him on the times as they were. He could have been caught. Rosie's put out some lunch for us if you'd like a bite.
Thanks.
You're finding this a great problem, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
I told Padmore you were the wrong man for this job right at the start.
Why did you think that?
Don't look so put down. It was a compliment. You've got great perception, my boy. But what we needed on this was somebody ambitious, open to influence. You'd go along with what his elders and betters desired. Instead of which, we landed ourselves with a sea-green incorruptible who took us at our public word instead of reading between the lines.
Tell me about Otto Yohn.
You read the files?
Yes, but Padmore said you knew the whole story.
Oh, I doubt if it's the whole story, but I talked with Kim about his part in it, and I talked to Otto Yohn after he came back from East Germany.
Tell me about him.
Well, he was part of the bomb plot against Hitler. He was a confirmed anti-Nazi. The group sent him to Lisbon to contact British intelligence. He met Kim Philby and told him about the plot. He asked for British assurances of help for the plotters when Hitler had been killed. Kim Philby didn't pass the details back to London. He just said it was a group of amateurs. Otto Yohn escaped to Spain after the bomb plot failed, worked for a time in London. Eventually, he was appointed head of the West German intelligence organization. Yes, he made a lot of enemies. He had an old friend in Berlin, a surgeon named Wolgemuth. On the 20th of July 1954, he went from Bonn to West Berlin to a religious service commemorating the deaths of the plotters. His brother was one of those who died. When the service was over, he went to Wolgemuth's apartment. He'd been invited round for a drink.
How did the commemoration service go, Otto?
I hardly felt I was there. I was thinking about those days and now. I guess it went all right.
When are you going back?
Tomorrow, midday. How are things with you?
Fine. There's always someone with an appendix, or a hernia, or a hysterectomy to be dealt with.
Must be the Berlin air.
A drink, Otto?
I'd prefer coffee if it's handy.
Oh, there's always coffee. I bought this stamped machine so that I can help myself when Frau Bentke isn't around.
Is this her night off?
Night off? 3 nights a week, and Sunday she is off. And tonight's extra. gone to see Marlon Brando in On the Waterfront with German subtitles. Courtesy of an insurance man. Sugar or saccharin tablets?
Sugar, please. One.
Right. I haven't started.
Tastes like wartime acorn coffee.
Perhaps it's been boiled a bit too long. I probably haven't got the hang of the machine yet.
What in God's name?
Take it. It will clear your head.
Are you feeling better, Dr. Yorn?
What happened? Where's Herr Wolgemuth?
He's at his surgery.
Where's this? Where am I?
We are in East Berlin, Herr Doctor. We want to help you, and we want your help too.
I don't understand. How did I get here?
We brought you here so that we could talk to you privately.
You kidnapped me?
It was the only way.
Do you know who I am?
Of course.
There will be official protests at the highest level. You realize that?
There have been inquiries. They have not been, shall we say, strenuous. Not all your colleagues regret your absence.
Is there anything in the newspapers?
Of course. You are referred to as a defector. A Soviet spy who has been recalled by his paymaster.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, certainly. But your enemies will all have their little incidents to recall that show that you were pro-Soviet.
Nonsense. I'm not pro-Soviet. And I never have been.
You're an anti-Nazi of long standing. For ex-Nazis, that means you're a communist. You acted as a legal advisor to the British at the Nuremberg trials. You removed faithful ex-Nazis from the BFV, so you're a disloyal German. An embarrassment to your government. You know that, my friend.
You have kidnapped a senior West German official. You have drugged me. You are holding me against my will.
You will not be harmed in any way. We have a real and genuine respect for you and for your fight against the Nazis.
I feel very tired. I must think about what you said.
By all means. Let us meet and talk again tomorrow.
How long have I been here?
This is the third day. When you were with Lufthansa, you were frequently in Lisbon and Madrid, yes?
It was an important route for us in the war. The most important neutral capitals in Europe.
And that was how you were able to contact British intelligence in Lisbon about the assassination plot?
Yes.
Who was your contact at the British embassy?
I don't remember his name.
Was it Philby? Kim Philby?
Yes, I think it was. A youngish man.
Was he based in Lisbon?
I don't think so. I think he came from London.
Did he indicate what London's view was about negotiating with your group after the assassination?
Nothing specific. General verbal support, nothing more.
But did you ever get the impression that the British had other contacts with your group apart from you?
No, I'm quite sure that I was the only contact.
So where do you think your people got the bomb?
They made it themselves or got it made.
Nobody told you that it was made and supplied by British intelligence?
No. Was it?
Yes.
How do you know?
We've got the original analysis of the fragments of the bomb by the German explosive experts who examined the room and the bits and pieces. Where do you think they could have got it from?
It could only be through Madrid, Lisbon, or Stockholm. But I was the only contact.
Except for Philby. He could have made some other contacts secretly with your group. Did he know any of their names?
Only von Witzleben.
So, it's possible.
I suppose so, but I don't see the point.
Did Philby mention anything about the Soviet Union?
Not that I can remember.
Did he suggest that the British would sign a separate peace with the Germans after Hitler was dead?
You asked me that before.
You didn't answer me.
He was encouraging, but he didn't commit them to anything.
But that was what your people wanted, a separate peace.
Of course.
And then you and the British and the Americans would have turned on us.
That would have depended on the British and the Americans. They wanted to finish the Nazis.
And then the Russians.
I don't think so.
Tell me everything Philby said. Everything.
For God's sake, that was 10 years ago. A lot has happened since then. I doubt if I could recognize Philby, let alone remember what he said.
Just try, Otto. Anything. Anything.
Eventually, they traded him back. He was tried by the West Germans as a traitor and served a prison sentence.
It makes your point that even in 1954 the KGB weren't sure of him.
Yes, it isn't proof. It could be some elaborate KGB ploy to cover him up. But I don't think so.
Why did they send you out to interview him in Beirut?
Do you mean why me or why somebody was sent?
Both.